Hello friends, today's second chapter of nested loop. Here we talk about nested loop, string array, how we approach nested loop. As we know that in the single loop we have different type of examples. Here I have worked on double dimension array. This is double dimension array. As we know, single dimension array, we have only one row and many columns. This is single dimension array. And if we are talking about multiple, then we have many columns as well as many rows. Here we use the subscript value or index value. It is 0, 1, 2, 3. In the same way, we also use the 0, 1, 2, 3 for double dimension for the column, but I also use 0, 1, 2 for the row. Important thing, we should use firstly the row and the column. So the index value 0, 0 means this is first, 0, 1 for second. In the same way, 0, 2 for this, 1, 0 for this, isn't it? So you can see that for this we need only single loop, and for this type of approach we need the nested loop. So it is a good example to know the array, double dimension array, as well as the nested loop. Let us see. And why we use it, what is the use and why it is, and how implement it in this approach www. We can see that I am using int matrix 2 3. It means we have 3 rows and 4 columns because it is starting from 0. I am using this approach. This is for first row, this is for second row elements. If we are working in a such way, the first value, this 4 and 2, and for 3, 6, 8. Now you can understand this, how we are using the elements inside the double dimension array. I am using here int I and j. It is a declaration, not the initialization. I am initializing here in the loops. One thing important, that we should use the curly bracket in the proper way so that a programmer and you yourself can understand the program properly. I am using outer loop. This is our outer loop. I am using I equals to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus. This is for row. I am coming inside. This is inner loop. Inside the inner loop, I am using j equals to 0, j less than equals 3, because we have the 3 element j plus plus. Then I am using printf. It means it works as for this, for this one, and the same way loop works for itself until the condition is reached there. So first row elements is fulfilled with the 1, 4, 2. And when the index value comes to j comes to 3, it lost the connection with inner loop and come to the printf end. It means it comes here. Next, again it goes to outer loop. Now the I value is 1 and j value is initialized to 0 again. Very important thing. How we are dealing the inner loop. When the inner loop, firstly inner loop execute. When it reach that position, that control counter position, it left the loop and goes to the outer loop, and outer loop it goes to in the upper way and initialize the value and then again initialize the inner loop. That is why I am telling you that it is the if I equals to 1 then j equals to 0 again. Excuse me. Now in the same way, third, 6 and 8 elements printed. Because I am using /n, it goes to next element. Important thing to see there here that we are using the curly bracket. If we are not using this curly bracket, then also it works. Why? Because statement after the if or for loop or while condition works for that loop. But if we have more than one statement after the if condition, yeah, for condition or while condition, we should use the curly bracket. So if we are using curly bracket in such a way, it will always /n. It will work for one and works for next line. So we need only this statement here only. Now the inner loop have the body for the from here to there, just, and when the it comes to j equals to less than 3, it goes to next statement, and the same way loop works. In these positions, all the elements are printed. But the question is, suppose we need a particular index value, how we deal it? Here you are, I am using printf, %d, %n. %d is for format specifier, /n is the escape sequence character, which gives the next line. And if we need tab character, we use /t. Here I am using matrix 0, 2. It means 0 is first row and the position 2. It means it gives the 2 output. So it will display the 2. So output are 1, 4, 2, 3, 6, 8 for this condition. For printf, it is showing 2 value. So this is the example of matrix, a simple example, and we can easily understand how we are using nested loop to solve the problem of matrix which contains the matrix. Now I'm talking about the string array. In Java or .NET, we use the string data type, but in the C language, we follow the character array to represent a string. So what is a string array? Which contains constants, characters value. And why we are using? Because we need the array to store the names. And how we approach this is the example. We are using main statement, char name, brackets, Ratan G. Suppose my name is Ratan space G. I am also using int array. It is an integer type value. I am saying it is a single dimension array. I am now using printf length of name is %n and str name. strlen is the function strlen which contains in the strlib. in Borland C, we use the should include the like studio.at, we should use the stdlib header file for this. So here you can see that I am using a single loop for int I equals to 0, I less than equals to strlen name I plus plus, printf %c and name. So how we are approaching it, you can see. Firstly, the index value name I is go for R, because it is a format specifier, it goes to here, it display A, T, A, N, and this is where if there is a space, then it gives for the another approach, it gives the space and J, E, T, and last statement, if we are using double equals to, is also give the space a dot or format blank null character. It actually gives the termination point for any string. If we are talking about more about the string array, you can see in this example. Suppose I am using only Ratan. But if we are using the array approach, it also includes the /n, which gives that now it is the Ratan is the n is the last statement, and now it is the termination point, that it is now complete string. But if we are talking about Ratan space Jeet, then null termination character comes in last, not in the here. It is works as a space. That is why I am telling for this condition, it works for it. And if we are using I less than str len name, so it works for here only. Ratan Jeet not give the null termination character. So friends, in this way we can see that how we deal with the nested loop, where we apply the double dimensions array and double outer loop, because there is a double sign of that we need for row and column, outer for row and inner for columns. We approach it, how we dealing it, making the row wise firstly it complete. If the row completed fulfill, then the next row is goes for with the help of outer loop. Then we see how we use the string array. Here you can see the example. So friend, this is the examples. This is this chapter for nested loop with the help of arrays. Thank you so much.